get me. That's what you get today. You get me. Hello to my biological father and his wife. Hello, beautiful people of this earth. Welcome to the Backpack Show. Good to see you. I am solo today. My co-host Carrie is over in Old Blighty, London, England, the home of His Majesty, and I am left holding the bag. My guest, Yuval David, had a second cancellation on us. Normally that is the kiss of death, but he called me and was very sweet, so he gets a chance to live and fly again. Good talking to you today, Yuval. We're going to talk about things and stuff and whatever topics you find interesting on the Backpack Show. Backpack Show. You got me. That's it. You're stuck with me today. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Backpack Show. First story I'm going to talk about is we talk a lot about drawing stuff in AI. I do a lot of AI art. We talk about asking Chat GPT this or that. Here's a nice story. Can a chatbot superhero teach kids supportive self-talk? What a great application of chat technology. What a great way to think about this. This is from the website Futurity. If you haven't seen that before, futurity.org. It is an article talking about this study in which they had a superhero created in an app called Self-Talk with Superhero Zip, helping kids do some self-awareness and some emotional management. Talk about a really cool and interesting use of a chatbot. I thought I'd run the first story like that today because it's my damn show. That's why. Hello, Chloe. Hello, Deb. Hello, Jane. Hello, Carl. Hello, Carol. Bonjour. So, good morning to you, Leslie. Good to see you. I don't feel tardy. Oh, Dean, I've got it bad. So, yeah, I thought, think about that. What a really cool application of a technology. Chatbot to help you learn better self-talk. And what I very first thought I had, and I bet you might have as well, why stop at kids? Don't we all need to know a little bit better about self-talk? Words are programs, words are software, and the way we talk to ourselves is the way we talk to our souls. And so if you're calling yourself names all day, or you say all kinds of mean things in your self-coaching voice, think about what that does to you over time. We really believe the things we hear, even if we're the ones saying them. So I love this idea, and I think that more of us could use not even a chatbot to remind themselves of positive affirmations. There's never anything wrong with really good positive affirmations, right? So that's what I have as a kickoff story. I'm interested to know any of your stories. What have you been paying attention to in the news? What's fun? What's exciting? What's something you want to talk about? Tell me a little bit more about you. In the meantime, if I could push enough buttons, because I am doing this all by myself. Hi, Joanne. Good to see you. Have you tried Hey Pi? It's kind of like that, but for both. Well, look at that. By the way, I have no ever any problem using things that are supposed to be for adults or for kids as an adult. I never have any problem. By the way, I want to show you some affirmations. You may or may not have seen this YouTube video. It's pretty old by now, but I'm going to show you anyway.
Look, I can be a shark. Now, my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my mom. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything good.
I mean, come on. How do you beat that? So, Jessica's affirmations. So, good fun. Hey, look at that. Carrie in the comments from Britain. We were just talking about a chatbot self-talk app that I found through futurity.org and following it up with some thoughts about that. I'm curious to know what topics are of interest to you. Where have you been spending your time? What's interesting? I'll tell you, I've been spending a lot too much time in Stable Diffusion drawing things because I've been just having so much fun doing it. It's really interesting to see how some of these technologies have grown and how you could type just a few simple words and get some really interesting stuff. There's also, I showed this to my neighbor. This is almost kind of a spoiler for the upcoming newsletter, because I talk about something called the easy button. I was showing my neighbor this. Have you seen this? This is called Stable Doodle by Stable Diffusion. So I can draw, I don't know, let me think. Okay, I'll do a spaceship. I've been thinking about space this morning. No good reason. Spaceship. Entering an orbit, maybe. So, I mean, this is me drawing with my trackpad with a finger, like the word, like finger painting pretty much. I type in spaceship, entering orbit, and then I just hit generate. Look at that. Look at that graphic. Just look how easy that was to pop up. And my very pathetic finger drawing skills show that off. That's called a Stable Doodle, and it is that easy to use. I think that is just nuts. Let's see. Carol says, I'm loving what Andy Cristodina has been doing with ChatGPT lately. He's using it in conjunction with GA4 to analyze web analytics. There's a project I saw a demo of inside my own company, in which we were talking about document compliance. So you take, it's basically like a stare and compare on, does this document have all the right compliant elements? And it runs through that. Ted over at IZEA has created an amazing AI tool called Form AI. Yes, Ted has. And I could give myself a little credit because he's been following over my shoulder ever since I got into this, and said that he credits me with the idea. Still on the advisory board. It's like generative AI for dummies. Etch-a-Sketch. Nice. I have a whole lot of doodles to feed that thing. There you go. Except that you have to draw them. You have to doodle by hand with a stupid trackpad, or maybe a pen, I guess. I mean, it doesn't know what your input's going to be. I've been finding out on how to use an AI tool to help me with marketing posts for my coaching biz. Carrie would know because she was talking about it with me. There is a marketing AI that's pretty good. It does campaigns and stuff like that, like right out of the box. It's like a dude's name or something like that. I'm not going to remember fast enough, but whatever. We'll see if she's carrying the comments or if she's just out there enjoying all of the land of old Blighty. But what's kind of fun is that, the fact that I could just throw this together that fast and it looked good enough. Think about this in not just plain old doodly terms. Think about it in the opportunity to make something where you're trying to just explain something to other people. Like imagine you're trying to draw something to say, let's see, our company has this product. This product can really work our way up over the borders or something like that. Let's see, product penetration. Lord only knows what this thing is going to come up with for this, but I'm hoping it comes up with something that fits. Product penetration. Wow. One thing I'll show you one of the things it came up with. One of the things that everyone knows that AI can't do is draw fingers, and another thing that AI can't draw words very well. But it's getting closer. That almost says product penetration. So I think that's rather funny. So you could do storyboarding, as Carol points out, absolutely. And so let's see. Dean says, do you think the best way to learn is just by playing with the tools? Absolutely. The best way to learn is by playing with the tools if they're on the simpler end of the tools. I could say, Dean, that Paul Reutzer's Marketing AI Institute, if you specifically want to learn marketing stuff, they've got a conference coming up in Cleveland. You're almost too late for it, I think. But I would say that they're kind of ahead of the curve as far as teaching some of this stuff. But I think a lot of it is playing. Joanne says, this is a paid service called Guidely that supports coaches. I don't know the official name of the tool. Yeah, and by the way, there's a lot of people kind of putting wrappers on AI so that you don't know that you're using it in that way, whereas other companies are trying really hard to advertise it the way that everyone suddenly was selling Facebook marketing when Facebook launched. So there's lots of things like that out there. One detail as it relates to this is that I can also tell you that one quick second. My oldest kid is texting me. One thing also about these AI tools, there's a lot of people using them in stealth forms. They're not telling anybody that they're using them. So it's definitely a situation where some people are getting their jobs, like they're doing data analytics and stuff with them. Although I'm a little sketchy on that because it means feeding your data into something else. And that's probably something where people can risk their company's data, and you have to be cautious about that. My artist brother agrees that fingers are difficult for human artists. Yeah, I mean, I used to hide feet in mist, and anyone who's a comic book nerd will know that Rob Liefeld, I can never remember how he used to do it. He's famous for drawing very strangely shaped entities. I'll give you, I'm laughing just looking at it. I will give you an example of a Rob art. Oh my gosh. This man made millions doing art. Look at, you can see Captain America. You can see sort of where his pecs more or less should end. And then it's almost like he drew two, it's like the body stretched left to right sideways or something like that. So yeah. So I feel like if Stable Diffusion's having trouble drawing it, it's only partly because we can't draw it very well either. So that's that. So besides AI and AI art and training chatbots how to do more of our job for us, this is on the day that we are live here. This is the release day of two releases in America, back to back, Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie. Somehow this made news that Tom Cruise plans to go to both movies on opening day. And he said the only problem is he's trying to really debate which one he wants to see first. Does he see Oppenheimer and then watch Barbie as a palate cleanser? Or does he enjoy the lightheartedness of Barbie before Oppenheimer makes him want to go home and drink? The other thing he disclosed in that same brief interview was that Tom Cruise loves to eat large buckets of popcorn on movie release days. It's one of his very few cheats that he allows himself while he eats to keep himself fit. At the age of 61, just recently released the new Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Dead Reckoning box office. Okay, let's see what they said. It says the movie cost $290 million to produce. Movie is, let's see, not very much. It only made $168 million worldwide in the very first weekend. I love how they're saying it's racing towards success, whereas it is absolutely really low numbers from what I could see here. So there you go. Oppenheimer shot Barbie chaser. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. So I find the reviews for both are interesting. The reviews for Barbie are hilarious because people are saying it's a very feminist movie. And I was like, did you notice that Greta Gerwig was the director? Have you seen any of her other films? Of course it's feminist. One interesting criticism is that Will Ferrell, who is in the movie, there's like a little too much Will Ferrell, people felt. I think it's funny that there's actual movie critics critically reviewing a Barbie movie. Bless their souls. Everyone mutually agreed that Ryan Gosling was the best part of the movie and that he was supremely funny and that this movie allowed him to really get at his comedic chops, which makes me have the opportunity to remind you to watch his most incredible funny Nice Guys with Russell Crowe. Probably one of my top 10 favorite movies. Oppenheimer, as you would imagine, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, is incredible. The points of view that I've seen a lot of are that Cillian Murphy comes off as haunting, as the haunted Robert Oppenheimer. Just to imagine that you're a person that created a bomb that could destroy the world multiple times over. And I think that it's an interesting story. There's also evidently some new information that the federal government is investigating Mattel because evidently as part of their promotional campaign Blitz, they decided to sneak and hide Barbie dolls all over various elementary schools, which is, of course, considered marketing to children. Evidently, there's a campaign or some laws against stealth marketing, and this sort of broke that rule. Fun fact, the creation of Barbie created a worldwide shortage of pink paint. Well, there is now a fashion trend heading back in that direction called Barbie core. So it may be that we're going to run into even more of that in the world. Who really knows? But I find that an interesting detail. All right. Anyone else? Any other news stories that you want to bring to me before I start digging into some of my other news? By the way, the United States President Joseph Biden has decided that he does not want Skynet to happen on his watch. And so he has put out all kinds of concerns about AI testing inside and outside of corporations because he doesn't want it to be that any of them get away, so that they have to do all kinds of extensive internal and external testing to make sure that none of these things break loose and take on the world. By the way, I do find it funny that the $290 million Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which did have some stunts in it, is really bombing all over the place at the box office. And it appears that Barbie might make up for their massive marketing budget in their opening weekend alone. Warner Brothers hasn't officially disclosed the cost of the marketing, but the rumor is over $100 million in marketing alone. And it looks like this movie is going to recover already between $95 and $110 million in ticketing sales in North America alone. So it looks like it is going to be the summer's hottest blockbuster money-wise, which I just love and find crazy because of, what do we know about the world? Related, the SAG-AFTRA strike is still ongoing. That means writers and actors are now picketing the evils of Hollywood. And to just prove that they were evil, evidently the people at Universal waxed up their wax mustaches, curled them and made evil sounds, and then cut down all of the branches on the trees outside so that when people are picketing in the Los Angeles sun, that the 110-degree temperatures can go right to their head parts while they're out there picketing. You can't write this. Like, you can't make this kind of a story up. And it's just like, wow, those people. The other one is billionaire Bob Iger, who makes evidently $71,000 an hour, is telling people that the average writer's salary of $71,000 in Hollywood is reasonable and that it's going to be unsustainable to give them any much more money. So that one's a little iffy as well. So those are the news stories I had prepared to cover. I also am looking through some news storylines to see what's going on. I can tell you another AI story, which is that OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, their head of trust and safety has had to step down, evidently not anticipating that the job was going to be as nearly as intense as it was, although not a lot of details are available on that particular one. I can tell you that the crypto person in jail, Sam Bankman-Fried, used a whole bunch of misappropriated, illegally appropriated funds to pay for his legal defense, which is fascinating. It's like being a bank robber and using your robbery money. That is really true. The cutting down trees. Universal cuts down trees. Let's see. Los Angeles City Controller's Office is investigating after NBC Universal severely trimmed a row of trees outside its studios where members of SAG-AFTRA were doing their thingy. I had pictures of it on the internet somewhere. Oh, okay. Okay, I got one for you. Hang on. Thanks for checking, Deb. In our land of all kinds of AI art, it's always good to ask these questions. This is evidently a picture showing the situation, the before and the after of it. Now, to their defense, those trees weren't exactly providing mountains of shade, but still sort of looks a little dicky, even on the outside optics of it. So yeah, that's what happens when unions go to war against Hollywood. And here I am reporting the gee whiz of the movie, what it's going to do for me as an avid movie goer. So I don't know. It's a twisty sort of a thing. So that's that. Other than this, I don't have a whole lot more news, so I might cut the show a little short today. I hate to agree, but yeah, always fact check. Yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, it's a world where it's a post-factual world. We've learned in the last, let's say, since 2016. Not sure why that year came right to mind, but I would say the post-factual world is here and here to stay. Yeah, I mean, they're arguing that it's just a simple pruning. It's just timing is interesting on that particular one. Well, I'm cutting the show short. Why wouldn't I?
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Giving it to Dean. Dean hasn't had a person of the day in a couple of days. He seems like a good gentleman. Good for you, Dean. We come to that part of the show where we ask every guest what goes in your backpack. I'm going to put my prayer beads. Breathe in, breathe out. My mom made these for me. They're beautiful. They're mala beads. There's 108 of them, very similar to a rosary if you're that religion, but in Buddhism or in several other faiths, you can take these beads and just use them to count your out breaths, and that gives you sort of an ample amount of meditation. Sounds pretty good. I can tell you who is a really kick-ass meditator. My grandmother. She did it by cursing in French Canadian. She had an amazing curse. It started Itabanak, and then it went into I think I'm a deep fake. I myself